Guys, we all know about what happened with Trump, the 34 guilty charges. Let's hear Piers Morgan's opinion on
his
this,
peers.
and I'll comment.
And now America has to face up to the consequences. And the biggest casualty may be public faith in their judicial system. This time, many people will agree with the former president's own assessment.
This is surprising. Piers Morgan is actually being very fair in this assessment. He's talking about how lawfare is being used against the president and how it's removing the trust of the American people from the judicial system. Now, the thing is, you know what the joke is? The Democrats actually believe this makes them look good. The Democrats, or maybe at least it makes Trump look bad. That's actually what the Democrats think. But they don't understand how much it makes them look like bad people. I was about to say the S word. But it makes them look so bad, guys.
This was a disgrace.
The joke here is they actually believe this is hurting Trump. This is the joke.
This was
As if it's not hurting them. They look so bad right now, the Democrats.
Trial by a conflicted judge who was corrupt. The real verdict is going to be November 5th by the people. And they know what happened here, and everybody knows what happened here.
Very disheartening
We didn't do a thing wrong. I'm a very innocent
I couldn't
man.
believe 34 guilty.
Our whole country is being rigged right now. This was done by the Biden administration.
Well, Donald Trump's
Yeah.
unfounded election denials.
Now I know why Coach Snail, you're talking about the Messiah, because he is looking like the savior. He does look like the Messiah. He looks like the one coming to, shake things up.
Undermine the American people's faith in the democratic process, something I've criticised him to his face for. But the hush money trial will be no different in the scale of its impact on the public's trust in their institutions, and I suspect it'll be no less damaging. This verdict doesn't show that everyone's equal under the law, as many are now arguing. It shows that anybody, even a former president, can be convicted for a relatively trivial offence if the full weight of the establishment is brought to bear against them. The prosecution had to perform judicial gymnastics just to make this a felony case. The district attorney, Alvin Bragg, is a card-carrying Democrat who's made no secret of his feelings about Donald Trump or his desire to nail him legally. And ask yourself this: would any other businessman have found themselves in court on felony charges for this? If the answer is no, then self-evidently not everyone is equal under the law. This could open the legal floodgates to political prosecutions motivated by revenge and spite. And plenty of the Democrats now celebrating could soon find the prison boot ends up on the other foot. I never thought I'd live to...
What a good point. Hey, Piers Morgan's being so good here, guys. That's crazy. For the first time ever, he actually has the facts of the matter correctly. And exactly. The Democrats now need to be scared. They shouldn't be celebrating this. They need to be scared. Now they can never have Trump win. Because if Trump wins, he already set the precedent that he can sue his political opposition on anything, and watch how he's going to sue Biden.
See an American president
Biden's son, Hunter, at least sue him on the crack.
convicted on felony charges. It's an extraordinary moment in modern history. But I always imagined if it did happen, then the case might be about something like a deadly illegal war, an act of treason,
Right.
or corruption on a grand scale. In the end, it was nothing like that. It was
Now we know why they started with the insurrection, so we can actually trump up charges on him and make us like the public opinion looks bad on him. Then now they'll just get him on anything. They're like, oh, you did a jaywalking? Come here, you're felony.
tawdry overreach designed to humiliate and discredit a political leader involving a payoff to a porn star for an alleged one-night stand 18 years ago. And for that, they dragged an American president through a criminal court for 2 months when he should have been campaigning for the election. This, I'm afraid, will go down as a sad and shameful and frankly ridiculous day for America. Well, that's my view.
Good job,
We
Piers.
discuss this with Young Turks founder Cenk Blondie.
Good job,
commentator
Piers.
Vincent Ashana, former Republican Congressman George Santos, and host of the News Agency
Oh, this is
USA
gonna be
podcast, the gloriously veteran journalist Emily Maitlis. Well, welcome to all.
Oh, this is gonna be good. Good job, Piers. I'm very proud with you.
Throughout my monologue there. So off you go. Look, my view, as I said there...
Why is the
I
woman
think
getting
of all the
emotional?
four cases that he
Relax.
was facing, this was by far the weakest.
Relax.
I think it was a massive stretch to try and turn it into a felony. And I think because of that, because Bragg is clearly such a partisan guy, that it's playing right into Trump's hands to play the martyr, and it will galvanize his base. We saw last night that the funding websites were literally breaking down because people were donating so much money. Could this not have the...
Exactly my point. My point is that Democrats actually think this makes Trump look bad. It doesn't. They don't understand how much they look bad right now. They like this turned on them. They look like they're prosecuting their political opposition so they don't get elected, so they can keep their position in power. This looks authoritarian and dictatorial from the Democratic Party, guys. Do you not understand this?
complete opposite effect that at the
Do you
moment,
not see this?
gleeful Democrats hope, which is that it might propel him back to the White House.
Yeah, there's a lot to unpack there, I think. Starting with the end, of course it could propel him back to the White House. And of course his fundraising is likely to have gone up through the roof, skyrocketed since the verdict came out. I think I'd agree with you that it's the weakest of the four cases. I think when we first heard the charges from Alvin Bragg, a lot of us were kind of raising our eyes at the number of them, 34. It was actually consistently the same charge, but brought on sort of different dates. And I think that still remains. It is the weakest of the four charges, but it is still the one that was before the courts. And it is still the one that was before the jury. And essentially, you're giving us the New York Post monologue, Piers, which I think is that if you decide that the whole thing is rigged, which Trump has been doing.
So what, we're just supposed to believe the judicial system immediately? See, I don't like this narrative where this is an authoritarian narrative. Just trust the judicial system. If Trump is not a felon, he wouldn't be, prosecuted and charged and found guilty. Bro, you know how many people we know? You know so many people that were hurt by the justice system. Throughout the years, we have so many hundreds and thousands of cases where the justice system was very cruel to them and actually was completely skewed against them and actually was used against them. We know that cases where R-word cases where allegations, just an allegation got him put in jail for 10, 20 years, and in the end he comes out free because there was no actual R-word happening. We've seen these happen so many times where they weaponize the judicial system. So to come here on Piers Morgan's show and your first point is, hey, you should trust the judicial system, I'm sorry, we can be skeptical. It's like fluoride in the water. We should be skeptical. Why are you doing that? Like, why are you putting people in jail for no reason? We have proof that you've done that, and you were able to use circumstantial evidence that's completely faked out to put people in prison. So why should we actually trust the judicial system? What I actually trust is the appellate courts, and I trust more like the third and the fourth appellate court. Actually, I think there needs to be a fourth appellate court because your judicial system is actually completely flawed. You can come up with an allegation or a claim, no witnesses, no evidence, and still you can find somebody guilty in a civil case or even sometimes in a criminal manner if it's circumstantial enough, which is absolutely BS. No judicial system in the world works like this. Usually people need actual evidence or witnesses. You guys need one witness and sometimes no even evidence at all, just a claim. It's clear as day. Nobody should trust the judicial system in America. So to come here on Piers Morgan's argument and argue that we should trust and that we're the ones that are stupid enough because we are not trusting the judicial system, that's an authoritarian argument.
Way, way before these cases even came to court, way before the 2020 election was fought, he's used the word rigged against them the whole time, then clearly you're just going to propel that narrative to a place.
But the Democrats used the word stolen election the whole time between the 2016 and 2020. So the Democrats have been using the word rigged even before 2020. So they used it before Trump did. What are you talking about? The Democrats have been using it. When Nancy Pelosi went and did a debate with Winston, the guy that went famous in Oxford University, she said, yeah, the 2016 election was rigged. But we accept the election, but we accept the results. But she said, but it was clearly rigged. She actually claimed that. So who's been actually touting that the election was rigged? It was actually the Democrats that started that. Another lie coming from this woman. How can you trust a single woman? Be honest, guys. How can you trust blonde women anymore?
Where you're feeling
they lie. They give you sweet lies to your face and give you the kiss and tell you they love you, but they actually are fucking another dude right in front of you.
Happy with it. I think that what happened in the court yesterday was that a jury who had been selected independently, gone through the ringer pretty much to assert their nuances and their leanings and all the rest of it, unanimously came to the conclusion that with the evidence put before them, including documentary evidence, he was guilty of those charges. Now, I think America will decide what they do with that. But I think if you're going to start undermining the rule of law, You set yourself against
Authoritarian.
the American people.
This video is sponsored by Professor, which is
What a bad argument. What a bad argument. Yeah, if you were falsely alleged and prosecuted and charged and found guilty, and now you're facing 10 years in prison, well, you should just accept that. You shouldn't be undermining the judicial system. You know, this is the respect of the judicial system. You can't disrespect us. Go and rot in prison for 10 years. That's absolutely a bad argument. I should be able to appeal every case. To act like, oh, and appealing a case isn't appealing your case non-trustworthy judicial system? Isn't every time you appeal a case, you're literally saying, I do not trust the judicial system, make sure that it's working, and what, 30% of appealates actually give you a different verdict? That means they actually should not be trusting the judicial system. Isn't the appellate courts literally the way made because nobody trusted the judicial system? That's literally what the system is. It was created because you cannot trust the first verdict not unanimously, and you needed maybe more, sometimes it could have been a falsification, maybe a misunderstanding by the judge, could have been something that is untrustworthy, and you have a claim over it. So that's what the appellate courts is literally existing for. So it's a joke to me to act like, oh, just do not undermine the justice system, just believe in it completely, as if anyone can believe in the justice system. Then why the hell does the appellate courts even exist? If everyone believes in the justice system and they don't believe in the undermining of it, why does the appellate courts exist? By the way, if there's 3 appellate courts, then there should be a 4th one too. What's your argument against a 4th one? That's exactly what I'm talking about. You actually are making 2 appellate courts as an arbitrary number. Why can't there be 3 appellate courts? Why can't there be 4 appellate courts? Why can't there be 4 courts? The actual same case can go through before it actually get thrown out and can never be prosecuted again. Why not? Why is it only 2 or actually 3 courts? The first, the appellate, and the last one, the Supreme, if the Supreme would even allow it. So this is my question to you is you made this arbitrary law, judicial system, and now you're telling me do not undermine it. You are an arbitrary creator of it. I can undermine anything you created because it's an arbitrary man-made creation. I should be actually allowed to voice my concerns according to it. And you being an authoritarian, not allowing me to do so, that's you being authoritarian, dictatorial. That's not me becoming anti-democratic, whatever the hell that means. That means every person that ever appealed the case is anti-democratic. Go away.
Set yourself against the people who have decided that they want to believe in the rule of law. Even.
Look at Kevin Spacey. He just came out. He forced the alligator against him to pay him because no one can trust the judicial system. There was a claim. He was charged, and then he appealed it, and he found non-guilty. Or maybe it was the same trial. I'm not sure. But, I mean, you cannot trust just from a claim and allegations to actually make somebody guilty. So we never can trust the judicial system. No, I can undermine it. I'm actually allowed to undermine. This is my democratic right to undermine the judicial system. Who are you to tell me I cannot appeal my cases?
The presidents.
Okay.
Or to voice my concern over the judge's verdict.
You were also not nodding vigorously through my monologue. Here's the point I would put to you on the back of what Emily just said. I remember Bill Clinton having sex with an intern in the Oval Office while he was president. I remember him paying off another woman, I think $800,000 over harassment allegations she made against him. What I don't remember is Bill Clinton, despite all that, ever appearing in a courtroom and being criminally prosecuted. And I think this is the problem that Democrats are now going to face, which is the apparent, obvious double standard. It's not to defend anything that Trump has done. It's simply to say, why is he the one who's been singled out for this treatment, given that Bill Clinton and others on the Democrat side were never treated this way?
Yeah, Piers, I'm bilingual. I speak.
Why are both the Democrats speaking? When is the Republican going to speak? To be honest, Piers Morgan is basically making the Republicans' points for them, so it makes sense why the Democrats need to answer this. But let's see how Cenk is going to save this question, because she tried to be authoritarian. Let's see his conclusion to this.
Both populace and establishment. So in this case, I think that both sides have a point, but often misstated. So first of all, does the establishment target people that challenge its power? Yes, it does. So it'll go against populist left and populist right. It'll try to do cancel culture.
Nice.
Whenever it wants to target some.
Nice. So he just okay. So Wait. I'm actually surprised. I did not think he was just going to confess. I actually don't believe this. He just confessed to it. Yes. The establishment will go against the opposition, the populist opposition.
It'll dig and dig and dig. So I've been the victim of that. A lot of people have been the victim of that. But in my case, for example,
Look, she's
they
getting
dug
mad.
and dug and found absolutely nothing. So they had to go to jokes from 19 years ago. Jokes. So that's when you know someone's as clean as a whistle. But the minute you dig under Donald Trump, just a giant number of crimes.
Wow, what a bad claim. So he's like, establishment will come after you, but if they have to go for 18 years ago, then that means that that they're coming after you. Well, that's literally what they're doing to Trump. Eugene Carroll's 30 years old. Stormy Daniels case, 18, 19 years old. His building case was like 12 years old. They're literally coming at him for stuff so old, like...
Spring up.
Cenk, you failed. Cenk, you failed.
Because he's a lifelong con man and he's a lifelong criminal. So I think that but at the same time, MAGA has an instinct that isn't wrong. So let me explain that, because the people in the establishment and Democrats can't understand this for the life of them. Look, guys, and MAGA gets a part of it wrong too, which is that Donald Trump actually wasn't going to be charged with any of this stuff as long as he didn't run for president again, even though he did all of these crimes. Taking those top secret documents home is mental. It's insane. Of course, his biggest crime is that he had the false elector scheme.
I don't know. He looks like he's losing.
America. And in this particular case, did he do this crime? Indisputably so. That's why it was so easy for the jury. And you mentioned...
Cenk again confesses, if Trump did not keep running for president, he would not be charged with this crime. He just confessed again. So why should we actually trust the judicial system anymore?
That Michael Cohen is a convicted felon. Yeah, he was convicted for this.
Didn't Cenk just undermine her points, she's another Democrat? These are the two Republicans. He just undermined every one of her points. The one next to him, which is do not undermine the judicial system. He's like, look, I get it. The judicial system is being used to attack people, but not in this case. That's his argument.
The same exact crime. They're co-conspirators. This is a serious case. Falsifying business records. Alvin Bragg, as you asked.
No, it's not.
You're not answering my question, which is why
But
is it one
hold on,
rule?
I am answering
Why
your
is it
question.
one rule applied to Trump, but a very different set of rules applying to Bill Clinton, who committed what I would argue were far worse offences, frankly, than what Trump did in the Stormy Daniels case?
No, Piers, what you're misunderstanding is that there's two different sets of rules for the powerful and the powerless. So the powerless will be tried on all these crimes. The powerful are never tried on any of these crimes. What MAGA and you are complaining about is, oh my God, Donald Trump is being treated like a normal person instead of one of the elites. If you're one of the elites, you're allowed to do
I'm sorry to
campaign
push the point.
violence violations.
Cenk,
you're allowed to break all these laws.
Cenk,
is
you're
your
not
assumption.
listening. That's not what I'm putting to you. I'm putting to you...
That's exactly what you're saying.
No, I'm asking you why Bill Clinton was never put through a criminal court minster, given what he did, many would argue, was worse.
Piers, no, not even close to worse.
He can't defend this.
Yes,
having sex with an intern in the
He
Oval...
can't defend this. He can't defend this point. Watch, Cenk is going to fail. This is it, guys. We're ending the video after this.
Office and then lying about it to the American people, paying off
listen,
Paula Jones hundreds of thousands of dollars to settle a harassment case. You don't think that's at
not
least
illegal.
as bad,
That's
if not
even
worse?
close to illegal.
Trump had a one-night stand with a porn star 18 years ago. Who cares? He wasn't running for president then.
Of course.
He was a business guy.
Piers, you're not... Okay, listen. Back when Clinton was being impeached, etc., I was a Republican. But as always, I was unbiased. And I said, we started on a real estate deal. It turns out he didn't do anything wrong in the real estate deal. Now we're going into his personal life. And then you dig and dig and say, oh, well, you denied the affair when you actually had the affair. Oh, what was he going to do? Admit it? And I was like, guys, this is a fishing expedition. But what I'm trying to explain to you, Piers, is that if you go on a fishing expedition on Trump, which I think they did, they weren't going to because he was one of the elites. They were going to. Merrick Garland protected him for 2.5 years. The whole time I'm screaming, will you try him already? He tried a coup, you idiot.
All right, look.
And he let him stay there for 2.5 years. But when you go on a fishing expedition with Donald Trump, you come back with a lot of fish. You come back with whales.
Yeah, but trust me,
you can't stop
Cenk,
breaking the law.
Okay, but when you go...
Absolutely not true. 2016 Russian allegations were turns out to be false, that he colluded with Russia. The allegations that he actually is with Carol Eugene. I would never believe that case in my life, the Carol Eugene allegations. I would never believe any of these cases, guys. Even if he is guilty, man, this is so long ago. Why didn't they charge him back then? Why are they charging him now? It's clear as day, just like Cenk himself confessed. If he wasn't going to fight for presidency and trying to get elected as president again, they would have never charged him on any of these charges. They would have let him go. It was Trump who decided to not be scared, not be trumped down and trampled upon by this judicial law system that they are trying to say that we shouldn't undermine and we should have full trust in. The same system that is an untrustworthy system that literally has systems in place inside of it just because of how untrustworthy it is in terms of appellate courts and different terms and even their probation system and all that, just because you cannot trust the system anyway. It's such a flawed system. They want us to trust it. And then after that, they also claim that all he had to do was just not run for president. That's literally Piers Morgan's complete argument here, is that if he wasn't a political opposition of the Democratic Party, he would have never went to jail. And then fucking Cenk confesses that. You're so dumb, Cenk. You messed it up, and this girl is not worthy of being on TV at all.